And welcome back. We have members of the Belize Hotel Association joining us. We have Marta Valdivia, who is the Director of Membership and Development and the Caribbean Hotel Tourism Association. We have Stephanie Rest, who is the CEO and founder of the Caribbean Wellness and Education. And we also have Tejada, who is the president of BHA. Welcome,
Belize
guys.
Hotel Association.
Belize Hotel Association.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Yes.
So you guys are having your AGM today. Could you talk to us about what the BHA is, the Belize Hotel Association, and a little bit of some foreshadowing as to what will happen today?
Excellent. So what the Belize Hotel Association is a non-profit organization. Actually was formed to actually market the country, its members primarily in the tourism sector. As you know, the tourism contributes about 30% of our GDP for this country, for our country of Belize. And it is actually a growing industry. If you would go to San Pedro, you would see huge developments. Actually, there's about $100 million in development at this present moment in tourism. There's brands that will be coming in pretty soon in the country that have been announced already. That will be 100-room properties that will be requiring at least 200 employees by next year per property. So what we're doing as the Hotel Association, we are a membership-based, and we collect all the revenue from the members and we market them internationally. Actually, last year we did 21 international shows. We did 11 trade shows and we did 10 consumer shows.
Wow.
And we try to attract more people to come to Belize, and I think it is working.
Oh, awesome.
So we have Stephanie and Martha here, I think, really to share the Caribbean perspective, and most importantly, because we're so localized, where do we fit in? So let's start. You are new to your post.
About 2 years now.
About 2 years, yeah. Tell
So
me.
yes, so I would say, and I have to start with congratulating Belize and their culinary team, because one of the things that CHTA does is host events that bring the Caribbean together. So when you ask me where Belize is very much in the middle of it, winning a silver award this year.
First year back after 14 years.
That's right. And we're very proud of them, and we hope that it's the first year of many, because what we see, it's a wonderful competition where the participants not only compete against each other, but they also form these camaraderies. And that's in essence what CHTA does in the region. We connect people, we do networking, whether it is in our events that we host with Caribbean Travel Marketplace in January, or Chief in the summer months, and Taste of the Caribbean, to hosting webinars and educating and sharing of best practices, because Belize needs to connect with other islands wherever they are in their tourism development, so that they can communicate with maybe a Jamaica that has a very developed product, but they also have similarities with Suriname or Guyana that are also emerging as tourism destinations. So that's what CHTA does.
Nice.
And Stephanie?
Yeah, from a wellness perspective, Belize is so strong in ecotourism, natural beauty. So that connection of just pulling it all together. Yesterday I was at Shaw Creek and had the most amazing experience. But when I posed the question coming here on social media, what do you think of when you travel to Belize? It's diving, it's the blue hole. So I think you have a lot of undiscovered natural wonders that you could be positioning and promoting better on an international scale.
Yeah. Now, looking at what globally is trending for tourism, we definitely know wellness is one.
Yes.
Medical tourism as well. A lot more people are looking for cultural, including food, experiences. And I want to bring that back to Ted, as well as understanding the region, because it also means that we have to be constantly shifting our own personalities here. And how much can we keep up? I mean, at one point it was all about being green. Now we're off the world the endangered list, so that's one step. But it also means that you have to keep up with the trends. And talk to us about how your members are able to keep up with that demand.
And that's exactly why we invited actually Stephanie,
Yeah.
because 2 out of every 3 person that stopped at the booth last week when we were in London for the Ella show
Yeah.
were high-end luxury travel. And the luxury travel wants to come and go to a Maya site, an archaeological, or they want to go snorkeling. But when they finish that afternoon, they want a massage.
I want a
They just
massage.
relax. And they're looking for that hotel, not only that has breakfast or has a shuttle, but they're looking, do they have a massage? And if they have a massage, I'm going there.
Yeah.
So we brought Stephanie, who has been working with a project in Belize as well, in a hotel that's being developed on the spa side, and she has been working in the Caribbean with several other hotels on that aspect, and give us some enlightening ideas. What do we need to do at our property in order to attract that market?
Yeah.
And you did mention the food. We also, I was at a resort this weekend, La Milpa and Hillbank, beautiful places.
Yeah.
And I was asking the manager, you are in Blue Creek where there's a lot of farming. I mean, agro-farming, agrotourism is another sector that we have never tapped into. And there's a lot of people that travel looking, where can I go, where do they grow rice, they do corn, how can I do my agrotourism better? So those are aspects that we haven't tapped in. There's a lot of opportunities, I must say, in terms of the food, in terms of the spas, in terms of the agriculture, and in terms of the medical, that the Hotel Association is looking and trying to help our members. How do we tap into these markets? That's why we brought in Marta, who is now regional, and they work with the different islands in the Caribbean, and they know what Jamaica is doing, what Guyana is doing, and they're helping us and saying, okay, these are the things that these other islands are doing that maybe you might be able to do to capitalize.
Right.
And from a regional perspective, Martha, looking at what seems to be the commonalities in challenges that the hotel associations are facing, I think oftentimes that people, from the outside looking in, we just expect more, and we don't always know what the perspective may be on the other end. So share with us what seem to be some of the common challenges across the Caribbean.
Well, the Caribbean is definitely unique in that we don't have a land bridge. So I think cost and ease of air travel is definitely one of the challenges that speaks to all destinations, and that where CHTA can provide that one voice and say, this is a challenge that we can work with governments on, and we have been working with governments on to ease that particular challenge. Obviously, last year we felt the challenge of the hurricane season and how that affected not only one set of destinations, but it affected the whole region. And that's when we have to come together and address them together. So one of the things that is happening over the summer is a regional marketing campaign that will include all destinations, that gives a positive message of why travel to the Caribbean. Because we're more than sea, sand, and surf. We have a culinary offering, we have a cultural offering, a music that all binds us together. And that's where I think that regionally we can become that force in the region.
From what we know of the hotel operators across the Caribbean, I think one of the concerns that we've been seeing more and more in Belize is that we're moving away from having Belizean-owned properties to totally foreign-owned. And it's a concern because obviously we want to be able to hold on to our own pristine country. How do you strike that balance? Or what are you seeing in the rest of the Caribbean with this specific issue?
So it's definitely something that every destination has to come to terms with. I think it is a positive step towards growth. But there is a balance, as you say, that needs to happen. I think the Hotel Association, the National Hotel Association, is one of those local voices that can ensure that the local, not only culture, but talent is retained. And that's another area where we can work together. And for example, we were talking, there is a level of training that needs to happen that will help the country grow in their tourism product. And that's something that we can add on to that. But the balance between going to a chain and a brand, solely brand perspective, I think the brands even themselves recognize that there is value in authenticity. And that's something that you need to communicate as a destination when the brands are coming in to say you need to retain this. More and more brands are also going towards the soft brand. so that it's not the big names that you'll see, but it's more of an independent property. And I think that's an important balance that can be
Bring it home to the local front, Ted.
Yes. In terms of, we're proud that now some of the hotels that are actually open, that are franchise, they have local management that is actually managing the property. I look at Naya, when Naya just opened a year ago, they had all foreign management at the property. If you were to go now, it's all local management that is actually managing the property, and they're doing an awesome job in doing that. I think the more education we have, as Martha just shared, the more the foreign investors will be putting us at the front and managing. I mean, I look at the Ramada Hotel, the GM is from Belize. The Biltmore Hotel, I am from Belize. So more and more, they're finding Belizeans that are capable of managing these properties. And the foreign investment can come in, but I believe it should be the locals who should be managing them. And we need to continue training them,
Is there a percentage that you use of how many of the hotels or members that you have are locally managed versus foreign?
We haven't looked at that number as yet, Marlene. Definitely, I could. It would be a very interesting topic to look at. But definitely, we work with all of the members. I would say many of them have local ownership and foreign investment that comes and builds it. A lot of the Marriotts that are coming in, one of them is locally owned, and the other one is a foreign investment. But when they open, they're going to be opening at 100 rooms. They require 100 employees. And they have been in my office asking me, where do we hire people? We will need people to work for us. So more or less, San Pedro, I'm looking for next year, they will be requiring nothing less than 1,000 employees in the hospitality industry with all the investment taking place.
The BHA is like the big ship, and we're talking about some of the brands coming in. But there's been an emergence of hotel-like businesses, Airbnb, for example.
Yes.
What has been the...
I love all your reactions just now.
We all reacted to that, right? What has been the local response? I mean, I love the Caribbean being here, and you give us context and perspective, but I'm kind of a home dude, so how does this impact the work that you do, your members, and what is the approach that the BHA has to things like that, like Airbnb?
Yes. So what has happened, a lot of our members have come and says, listen, there's an Airbnb right beside my hotel and it's affecting my occupancy.
And can you just tell us what basically an Airbnb is?
Airbnb, you have your home, you have 3 rooms available, you really don't live at your place, and you would like to rent it, make some money. So that platform is the largest OTA, in terms of the online travel agent, it's called. Meaning that you go to an online system, you load your information, and it's visible to the world, and somebody can buy it on that platform. Actually, we had a meeting with Expedia last night, who's one of the presenters today, and they were telling us that their revenue is $5.1 billion. If you can imagine, 5.1 billion. I mean, Belize GDP doesn't reach, not even close. But that's what their revenue is for some of these OTAs. So these homes, they go online, they're registered, and they can sell their homes and rent it. Our perspective is there is going to be a buyer for all these products. What we want as a hotel association is that they comply in terms of registration. We need to pay taxes. We need to fix the streets. We need to
pay license fees.
So the Belize Tourism Board, we have been asking Belize Tourism Board, we need to register these properties. You need to do an inspection to see that they comply. Because if something would happen in one of those homes, they do not say, oh, it's Marlene's home, there's an accident. They'll say there is a tourist that was that happened in the country of Belize. So the entire country gets a black eye.
It affects the whole product.
That's correct. It affects the entire product. So we, and I know that Belize Tourism Board is going behind these properties, and there's a penalty if they would catch you. Yes, there is a penalty if you
because they hadn't been paying licensing fees for I think up until last year.
That's correct.
Now, Ted, I believe it was last year that there was it was reported that you had less occupancy, right? The hotels in Belize, overnight stays were less. And I think that one of the things that were attributed was that potentially people were staying in Airbnbs and VRBOs, but perhaps not registering into the overall system. What does this mean in looking forward? You have a heavy competition, and it's cheaper rates, it's making your own meal, and I know you can share on the Caribbean perspective. How do you give yourself a competitive edge moving forward when people want to travel, but the budget just isn't there for the chain hotels or the luxury hotels?
Put it this way, in terms of being lower occupancy, Marlene, it was not that it was lower occupancy. The tourism board shows that there was an increase in overnight tourism. There was actually this year, up to April, we have an 18.8% increase over last year in people overnighting in the country of Belize.
But they weren't all staying at hotels.
Yeah, we're really
Yes,
staying.
we've had as well an addition of inventory into the system. We had the Mahogany Bay,
We had more hotels.
which opened with 100 rooms.
Yeah.
And by December 6th, they're also adding another 100 rooms this year. So that property has 200 rooms just from one year to the other. So we've had 900 hotels registered in the country of Belize.
Yeah.
Out of 900, I would say 800 of them have 50 rooms and below. So you have a lot of these small little properties. When you have one hotel with 200 rooms, that adds up to 50 properties to be one. So all that inventory now is being spread.
So it's being spread.
Among
That's not just
So
going back to the question of how do you
Yes.
compete? Yeah.
So now, how do you compete? I believe you must invest in marketing. And that's why the Belize Tourism Board Association is there to help you. We provide a guide which goes international to 21 international shows. We've been this year taking this guide all over. Every member has a half-page ad without reservations. We don't say, oh, the Biltmore has a lot more rooms, a lot more money, let's give him a page.
Once
No.
you're a member, you're in the book.
Once you're a member, the board of directors said many years ago, you will have a fair shot in this. So you have a half a page. The Belize Tourism Board also takes this guide all over their trade shows that they go to market us. So we are also on the airlift committee. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. The airlift committee is actually a committee that looks at new airlines coming to Belize. So we've been knocking on doors. Last year we went to JetBlue. We were this close from closing a deal. They sent us a letter saying, listen, next year we'll be considered. We're looking at a date to go see them. We were at Southwest. Southwest just announced that they will be adding 4 flights from Denver this year. They were flying once a week. Now they'll be flying 4 times. United just announced last week that they will be flying out of Chicago daily, starting January, February, and March. They were flying as well 1 time for the week. Now it's going to be daily. So all these airlines coming to Belize is adding more seats to bring in more passengers. So we're doing our jobs.
But let me just get Martha on the Airbnb issue. Yeah, go ahead.
So throughout the region, we do see the same paradigm occurring within the industry, and every destination is in individual conversations with Airbnb, and we say Airbnb, but it is the sharing economy, right?
Yes.
And it expands more than hotels. It also expands transportation services and other things. So each destination is figuring out this relationship. CHTA also has conversations with Airbnb and does speak with them at a regional level to try to mitigate some of the challenges that are happening with licensing and taxation. Now, something that's interesting is that I think it really does speak to trends. So it's a little bit about what you were talking before. The traveler now needs to think above the beyond the 4 walls. And so how do we adapt as an industry to not only provide a hotel room and a bed, but to provide a full experience? Whether it's in wellness, whether it's in a culinary offering, or in anything else that can enhance the traveler's visit to your destination. And I think that, again, is something that we bring to the table that we can share with the hoteliers that are here in Belize to start thinking outside.
So beyond just providing the bed, because
Beyond
that's
the
the Airbnb or your VRBO does that too.
That they do that.
But
Well, what can the
you
hotel
do
do?
make the beds for us.
That's a plus.
But Ted, were you saying that we can account for, because as you were saying, we have been showing an increase in overnight stays
That's correct.
consistently.
That's
Are you
correct.
saying that we can account for where they are staying?
We cannot really account. We are working on that.
Oh.
Actually,
'Cause-
Airbnb last year when I sat with them, because we did have a meeting, and I like the term that used our relationship that we have with them.
Yeah.
They stated that we had 1,200 registered hotel properties in or Belize or Airbnb, and BTB only had 900 hotels registered on their system. So we went to BTB and said, Airbnb has more properties registered on their system that you have on your system. And the last meeting I had with BTB, they had over 800 Airbnb that had already been registered with BTB. So it's working.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, you just have to
Yes.
search. It's kind of
yes,
easy.
we just have
kind
to
of,
search.
yeah.
Yes, we just have
Yeah.
to continue searching and demanding that they register and they pay their proper taxes. And you know, there's a customer for everything. Somebody likes to go to Brody, somebody likes to go to
That's true.
and DK. You know, there are customers for people want that homestay, and some people want their hotels.
And it depends on what you're traveling for, too.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Stephanie,
right.
is this a great opportunity to incorporate wellness to give your hotel a competitive edge?
Absolutely, and I think that people get caught up and think it's a lot of investment or you need a lot of knowledge, which isn't the case. I mean, wellness is very simple. It's just, you know, it doesn't have to be a massage. It could be upgrading your sheets or using different cleaning products and creating a well room, which could be very simple. The wellness traveler is out spending every other traveler by 130%.
Wow.
So, I mean, I think it's the
We need
traveler
those.
that you want. And wellness travel is outpacing every other category of travel by 50%.
Yeah.
So, if you have some foresight and you want to attract those travelers, I think, you know, revenue-wise, you're going to do so much better as a property and a destination.
Is the wellness traveler the polar opposite of the backpacker? 'Cause
No, not necessarily. No.
The ones that are willing to stay in hostels and
Yeah.
we're just trying to.
Well, think about your millennials. All your millennials really want is Wi-Fi, maybe a shower. They'll probably just jump in the ocean.
Yeah.
But what they will spend money on is that fine wine. They're going to spend money on the massage. They're going to spend money on listen,
health shakes.
on health shakes,
kale
green
chips.
juice, green juice, kombucha.
Yeah.
I was even thinking for Shaw Creek when I was there. I asked Mr. Mick. I said, you know, would you ever do a work study program? Because I bet you could even get a millennial to come and work for you and pay to stay here because they would just
Wow.
want the experience of working on the farm or
Yeah.
the different things available there.
And I appreciate that you expanded beyond just talking about massages, because I think most hotels have a masseuse that they can call and probably get it
Yeah.
on your balcony or out on the beach, but it goes beyond that. What is wellness in the tourism industry?
I mean, it can really be anything. I even think ecotourism falls under wellness because such a big part of wellness is connecting with nature
Yeah.
and being present. So forest bathing, like literally you could create an experience.
What? Forest?
Forest bathing.
Forest bathing.
Okay.
And take some people into the woods or into the jungle and say, we're going to forest bathe now, connect with nature, and charge them $150. Yes,
I
yes.
love that.
So, like I said, it doesn't have to be an investment. I think it just takes some creativity. And I think BHA has a real opportunity here to market yourself as a wellness destination because it's such a buzzword now. There's so many categories that fit under that. And of course, there's some wellness washing, as we call greenwashing, back when that was a trend.
Okay.
But I think that you have a real opportunity right now to capitalize on that. And there's no destination in the Caribbean doing it really well.
Yeah.
There's destinations in Asia that do it really well. You know, you have Thailand, people go there for wellness. You have Europe. Europe does the most wellness trips.
Yeah.
What people don't know about wellness tourists is that only about 12% are actually traveling for a wellness tourism trip, but out of the 100% of wellness tourism, 89% of those people are going to purchase a wellness experience. So it's a secondary wellness tourist.
So they're there to travel, but they want wellness as well.
Exactly. So if you don't have a wellness tourism option or wellness product, you're really leaving money on the table, and they're going to go to the green store next door, or they're going to go get the massage next door. Or so it's really important to consider that no matter what category of hotel product that you have, you can do it very seamlessly. You don't have to have a big spa or a big wellness center or be very green or eco-friendly.
Or even
Anybody can-
incorporating things in your menus.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, mini bars, so they would be super simple to do. Have a bath upgrade, like you would purchase it, I would purchase it. A meditation app. I mean, there's just so many creative things you can do for very little investment and make money. That's the important part. Like hoteliers don't necessarily see that. I have this conversation every day. Wellness is a $3.7 trillion industry. It's revenue. And for very little investment, and you don't need somebody to facilitate it. You don't have to pay staff overhead. It's not like F&B where you have huge food costs, and it's a challenge every day. So yeah.
Today is your AGM.
Yes, so I wanted to add on that a little bit on the AGM. So what we're doing as the Hotel Association, many properties, they tend to invest, okay, we're going to invest in this newspaper, we're going to invest in this guy, we're going to invest in television. What we're doing this time, we're bringing digital persons, people that are, in hospitality, we believe it's targeted investments. So we are bringing in Booking.com, experts in knowing what, and people are searching on the internet, where do you need to put your money? And every dollar will convert into a $10. That's guaranteed. We're bringing Expedia, experts from Expedia as well, who are going to be telling us what is the trend. What the gentleman was telling me yesterday, as a matter of fact, the minute you search on the internet and you go on Expedia and you search for something, they're going to follow you for 10 days.
Oh, of course.
Yes, if you went to Las Vegas and you didn't buy anything, for 10 days they will follow you and say, you got to buy, until you make that decision.
Yeah.
So they're here to speak with us. Travel Click is here as well. That's another company that looks at statistics. So with the internet, that's the beauty. Once they know your IP, they know where you're from, what is your age, how much you spend, and where you stay. So we're bringing Travel Click, we're bringing Expedia, Booking.com, we bring Marta from the CHTA, we bring Stephanie. So we have a group of individuals that are going to be helping our hoteliers to make better decisions this coming year.
How many people are going to be at your AGM?
How
How many representatives?
From the industry?
Yeah.
It's an open invitation.
Okay.
Anybody can come. I know we had over 100 RSVPs as of yesterday, but it's an open invitation for
So
anyone.
it's not members only?
No.
Okay.
We believe in opening to the entire industry.
Okay.
And from what I've read, it's being hosted
At the Belize Black Orchid, it's in Borenboom.
which is the #1 rated destination for hospitality in the Belize district. Am I right?
It is a very nice property.
For repeated years.
It's
So you
been
guys are
there. Yes.
in the right place.
and that's the other thing. We try
also
to
locally owned.
exhibit.
And it's also locally owned.
Yes, we try to exhibit one of our members every year. When we have our biannual, we'll be in Placencia. Last year we did it in San Pedro. So whoever has a conference room that we can fit the event, we try to move it at different destinations so that our members and can see the exposure of the next property as well.
Yeah, but it's good that you guys are doing it somewhere where it overlaps. Because I think it was TripAdvisor that actually rated Black Orchid
Yes.
On that level. But what I wanted to go at a little is to talk about some of the work. Because as we talk about Airbnb and all of these external to the organization, that there's a lot of work that has been done by BHA over the years.
Yes.
A simple thing like the restructuring of the organization and its membership, or the partnership that it has with BTB now, and the annual, I think you guys get maybe about $200,000.
You're right on track.
I'm right on track, right? And because there's been a lot of work. There have been a couple presidents before you.
Yes. Doug Thompson was one of them.
the
Yes.
president, and he did quite a lot of work.
Definite.
I'm glad to hear that you're going digital, but those are huge shoes to fill. What else will you be working on in terms of getting the organization, as it's already financially now in a place of strength, to benefit the entire country? Where are we going next?
So I don't know if you guys have seen on the national television, we've had some videos. There's a channel that is playing local hotels. There's 10 videos being played 24 hours on a local channel. Actually, I stopped at a resort on Sunday, and the owner was telling me, man, my Belizean business is up through the roof. So I asked her, what do you attribute that? He said, those videos that you guys put on the television, people didn't know we existed. So we have some ideas to continue in that trend this year. exposing our properties locally, because we do have an affluent Belizean market that travels on the weekend with their kids and want to stay outside of Belize City. We also have the new website is going to be launched today for the BHA. You are going to be very, very happy with the site. The members will be able to advertise employment. If you need a chef, you know, instead of going to the Biltmore website, go to the Belize Hotel Association website, where not only the Biltmore is being advertised, but Naya, Victoria House, everybody that needs someone in the hospitality will be right at the site. Packages, if you have a birding package, we're going to a birding show in the US, we ask you load it on the site. And everywhere that we go, we advertise that site. So we believe that going digital, once again, will strengthen all our members. We've hired a company in Canada, Pinnacle Marketing, who's going to be doing the SEO for the site. They've been doing that for many years, and they guarantee us to position the Belize Hotel Association site as #1 in Google very soon. So we're working on many.
You know, and I think the whole, we're finally starting to realize, I think, how important digital marketing is, and I think also recognizing the opportunities that come from it. The threats, though, is also easy access to other information. And one of the things we know in Belize is that locally we're facing a very big issue when it comes to crime. And we've had major international news networks talking about our crime situation, especially when a tourist is involved. What have you found with your members in what they're facing with this particular problem? And how do you overcome? It's not just overcoming a perception, it's challenging a reality.
Yes, yes. It is an issue that all our members are concerned. It's not only our members. I sit on the Belize Chamber of Commerce, and they are also concerned. All the agencies that I sit on are very concerned about that. I think it's public awareness and education that we must all go to as Belizeans. We have a beautiful country. To be honest, it is the top producing destination in the Caribbean at this moment. We are outpacing every single Caribbean island. If we look at Nicaragua, it's a shutdown country right now. They're shutting hotels and airlines every single day. It's under a civil unrest. What happened into Guatemala with the volcano in June 3rd actually destroyed huge parts of that part of the country. So Belize is sitting on a very good position right now. And I think us as Belizeans, we have to start doing personal education with our community, working with our community, seeing how can we help our community to be better citizens. Because tourism right now is generating 30% of the GDP. This thing can go to 50 very easily. Like I said, the airlines are coming to Belize. They're adding flights. So I think, Marlene, we have to go publicly in terms of the news, in terms of the spaces that we have. How can we educate our people to be better citizens?
Now, is it also at the point where you want to partner to be part of the solution? In San Ignacio, for example, when there were a lot of issues, the tourism sector stepped up and really enhanced the police station there. In San Pedro, we're hearing a lot from the tourism sector about the challenges that they're facing in fighting this reality. Are we at the point where the tourism sector, as they've partnered with environmental agencies, now want to partner with the social sector to kind of get a handle on what we're seeing with crime?
Actually, I think we have been partnering at a personal level. There's a youth apprenticeship program that is being headed by Ms. Finnegan. And we at the hotel actually have 10 of those students that work with the Biltmore Hotel. We work with them for 6 months. We train them on a skill that at the end of the day, maybe we can use at the Biltmore and we can continue hiring them. We believe that that is going a long way. These kids are coming out of school or not going to school. They really don't know a trade. They just believe, okay, where do I go from here? When somebody opens their doors and gives them an opportunity, suddenly they know carpentry, they know how to serve someone in a restaurant, and they realize that there's money to be made. The Belize Hotel Association also has a scholarship fund. We have been sending 4 kids to school right now. Actually, today we're raising additional money to send another kid to school. I believe that education is the power to success, honestly. The more organizations we can adapt more kids to send to school, this country is going to be different in the next 10 years. But we got to start now. We got to start now and urgently.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's tons of hotels opening. They will require employees.
Skilled.
They will skilled employees.
Crime is one thing, but what about the contributions of the association in terms of environmental health? I mean, we've seen legislation being passed in terms of single-use plastic containers, styrofoams. I assume that some of the restaurants, they use a lot of styrofoam.
Yes.
Is there a move towards getting a completely certified green industry?
Definitely, there's a move. Actually, it's going to be illegal to bring it into the country as of April 2017, 2018, 19. Actually, by that day, the 17th of April 2019, importers will no longer be able to bring styrofoam. It's going to be a issue that we're going to have to see how do we face it in. But I'm telling you, all the hotels are advocating for it. We want that to happen. We want that. Actually, today we're going to have a booth at the show where it's going to be renewable energy. We're also looking at that with the Ministry of Tourism. How do they bring down the taxes on solar water heaters, solar panels for light? We need to invest in these.
It has to be incentivized.
It has to be incentivized. So we're working with the Ministry of Tourism at this present moment, who's also working with the government of Belize to see how can we partner and make this a reality.
I can say though, the hotels do take the lead on some of the green issues
Yes.
because I find it harder and harder to get a straw at a hotel. And in fact, this weekend, my niece needed a straw, and so they gave her a macaroni.
A macaroni.
It was amazing. I loved it. So I really think that is one of the areas where we are seeing, and I think because globally that's what people want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, of course, your expectations for today. I know you have to head over to the AGM itself. What do you hope that your members will walk away knowing, understanding, or seeing a new perspective on at the end of today?
Marlene, I actually sitting here listening to Stephanie, so many things were going through my head. I got to look at my sheets. I got to look at the shampoos that I put. What else can I put to make more money? Thank you, Stephanie.
I can help you.
So that is what I think we want our members to walk away at the end of the day. Just listening to her, like I said, I have 5 things in my head that I will go and look at. Because at the end of the day, these travelers are going to pay a little bit more because you have this type of shampoo that smells like you're in a spa. Many times you're so busy that you don't really pay attention to it. But when you're listening to somebody like that, people, there's a $3.7 trillion. I want that 0.0001% of that money. But we believe that our members will walk away with something that Booking will say today what they're doing and is capturing market. We believe there's something that Expedia will say that they will walk away today. And not only that, I believe it's going to be a reaction that with the digital technology, you don't have to wait for tomorrow. It is immediate. If you take
They can tweet it by this afternoon.
by this
We're
afternoon,
changing our shampoos.
changing your shampoos, you're making money. So that is what we want our members to walk away with.
Best of luck today. Thank you for coming in and
Thank
telling
you very
us.
much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate
It's
it.
an honor.
So it's
Thank
at Black
you.
Orchid. The seminar starts at 8 o'clock this morning.
Started.
And actually it goes until midday, and the AGM is from 1 in the afternoon until 5 in the afternoon.
All right. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming in. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by representatives of the Social Security Board and the Belize Kidney Association to talk about their upcoming ride across Belize. So stay tuned.